Strength training for me is, well, it's just getting stronger. It is what it is in the title. I feel stronger after I've done a session of strength training. And also it helps me in other areas of my fitness. Like I feel like it helps my endurance. I remember I did my first Met class and the warm-up I thought was the actual thing. Okay, and then Heather, the coach at the time, said, "Okay, that's the warm up done." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's a warm up!" Like I was already dead. When you do something that you felt so daunted by, and you start doing it well, it gives you that confidence because you think, "What else can I do that I thought I couldn't do?" But you actually can, and you actually can do it well.
Yeah.
So, and it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, so then you get more comfortable in being outside of your comfort zone.
Welcome to Real People, Real Results, Real Change, the podcast that's dedicated to helping real people develop real health and fitness in their lives. Real people like you, business owners, professionals, house husbands and housewives, and students. I'm Stefan, I'm a personal wellness coach at YouFit Studio, and I'll be your host. In this episode, I'm talking again with Sonal Bhuptani, a senior project manager and business graduate with a real passion for food. In this episode, we talk about Sonal's strength training and how she's optimised her thinking to support her personal growth, physical health and physical fitness. Sonal, thanks so much for joining me again. I'm really excited to talk with you. Specifically about, I'd like to ask you about, so you mentioned in the last episode that that strength training with free weights is now your favourite form of training.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about that because that's quite intimidating for many people, probably women especially, due to a lot of misconceptions that are out there. But firstly, just tell, like, what is strength training for you? What?
Strength training for me is, well, it's just getting stronger. It is what it is in the title. I feel stronger after I've done a session of strength training. And also it helps me in other areas of my fitness. Like I feel like it helps my endurance for when I'm running, for example. If I didn't do strength training, I probably wouldn't have been able to run as the distances that I can now.
Yeah.
And also it helps in the sense that obviously you can eat more. It's always great because I'm a foodie. So yeah, it helps in so much.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about what kind of training you're doing.
Okay, so I'll do a Met class once a week, which is high intensity training, a lot of cardio, and then I do strength training 3 times a week, and then I also run once or twice a week.
Okay, and so your strength training, is that with a coach? Do you do it by yourself or?
So it's with a coach once a week, and then the other 2 sessions are just me. By myself.
Okay,
yeah.
And what's that look like? Is that using machines? Is that free weights or combination?
Yeah, it's a combination, really. Okay. It's so obviously we follow a program that we're set by our coach. So it's a real mix of free weights and then using the machines as well.
Okay, and you're training all sort of like body parts. Is it like kind of
yeah,
upper body, lower body, all that
It's everything really. Okay. Yeah, so it's a good program because it targets different body areas every session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But when you started, your fitness journey really sort of post lockdown.
Yeah.
So, and when you started, you didn't really have any experience in that world. You didn't really know what you were getting into.
No, I remember I did my first Met class, and the warm up I thought was the actual thing. Okay, and then Heather, the coach at the time, said, "Okay, that's the warm up done." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's a warm up!" Like I was already dead. Yeah. So I had no experience in anything like that.
Okay, so it was a rude awakening.
Yes.
But you kept going.
Yeah, kept going. I didn't give up. I made sure that I wasn't going to give up. I kept going, and it was really one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about in terms of the strength training itself? So how was that? Like I'm guessing that was quite scary to start with, was it?
Yes, very daunting because I hadn't really done anything like that before. And I didn't really know what I was doing either. So that's always uncomfortable when you don't know, when it's your first time or first experience doing something. But I felt like I was very well guided by the coaches. And then they give you the confidence to do it alone. Yeah.
Okay. So was that something that built up gradually?
Gradually.
Over time, right?
Yeah. And, I tried not to be put off by it, just try to embrace it. And also try to think like, when you're in the gym, you feel like people are looking at you, and if you don't know what you're doing, it can be quite embarrassing, but actually no one cares, and everyone's doing their own thing anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, things like free weights, and machines as well, right? They're often, I think probably statistically, a lot of women veer towards like cardio training or HIIT training or something like that, and not so much strength training. It's often seen as like the sort of the, it's all the guys, right, in the corner of the gym, like, hogging the weights and stuff. But what's been your experience with that?
I think because it's so encouraged by the coaches to do it, I feel like it pushes you to doing it. And, it's either sink or swim. When you're pushed to do something, you either flourish with it or you don't. And I feel like, you're just so encouraged to do it that you embrace it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's been the most challenging sort of aspects of that for you?
I think it's more of getting to grips with the machines, maybe, and then just pushing yourself to when there's no one around and when you don't have a coach, pushing yourself to work hard when you're on your own. But when you start doing things to give you that self-belief, I feel like because I have that self-belief, I'd be cheating myself if I didn't push myself, because I know what I'm capable of.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Are there particular things that you say to yourself, or that you kind of how you set yourself up in order to train well?
Yeah, I feel like I always have my coach's voice in my head, even if they're not there, and so I can always hear them saying, "Yes, you can," which always helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then how's that impacted on things like your confidence?
Oh yeah, massively. Because when you do something that you felt so daunted by, and you start doing it well, it gives you that confidence. Because you think, what else can I do that I thought I couldn't do, but you actually can, and you actually can do it well.
Yeah.
So, and it pushes you outside of your comfort zone. So then you get more comfortable in being outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So it's like a virtuous circle, and it's easier.
Yeah.
But you have to challenge yourself in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. And it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
But I always try and think of my future self rather than how I'm feeling in that moment in time. So obviously there's days where I don't really want to go to the gym, like everyone. It's dark, it's cold, there's all the excuses in the world, but I always go, and I always feel better after going to the gym. It's like, Joe Wicks, he says, you never regret a workout. It's so true, and you always feel better afterwards.
Yeah, amazing. Okay. And then I guess I've certainly spoken to some women in the past who've been really concerned about, kind of leaning into strength training rather than cardio. I don't know, worrying that maybe they'll get too kind of bulked up, maybe kind of look too masculine or something like that. What's been your experience?
I think that's a common myth that women have, that you will look too bulky. It's actually not true. Okay. It's actually really difficult to develop muscle for a woman.
Okay.
Because obviously we don't have the hormones, we don't have the testosterone and so on. So, but what strength training does is it gives you that shape rather than adding bulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like toning in a sense,
yeah.
right? But Okay, but developing that definition or that muscular shape, but it's not masculine.
It's not. I feel like it gives you, for me, it just accentuated, for example, my curves rather than give me bulk, which I obviously really like.
Okay, cool. And you get to eat more.
Exactly, which is always a good thing, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, what would you say to sort of a woman out there who was, hadn't maybe explored, or just had some sort of negative experiences in sort of gyms around strength training? What would be your sort of advice? Or
I would say don't be put off by any past experiences, and once you start and you keep going with it, I feel like it develops and you'll learn what to do and what suits you and how far to push yourself. You'll learn so much about your body and about yourself. So just keep going with it, really. Gradually, even one step at a time. Start with low weights if that's good for you.
Yeah.
Start low and then increase it after time. Yeah.
Okay. And then are there specific things that people should be eating in order to sort of support that, would you say?
Yeah, I feel like obviously a fibre-rich diet, protein-rich diet definitely helps repair your muscles afterwards. That's definitely helped me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel like even if it's just increasing your veg for the day, I feel like it really helps.
Okay. And what sort of things do you... So you said you're a foodie.
Yeah.
What kind of things are you eating to sort of supplement your training?
Well, actually, in the past few months, I've started to eat seasonal. So I go to the market once a week and I start to build my meal plan around what's fresh and local, which has really helped because my cycle started to get to a point where I was struggling with it. And it was recommended to me to eat organic. So I started it, and I've really seen benefits around that. So I'll literally pick the local seasonal veg and then build my meal plan around that.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, good for the environment as well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome stuff. Okay, is there anything else that you kind of, in terms of sort of top tips for, sort of getting the most out of training? I guess whether that is the strength or cardio or running or whatever, but are there any sort of other things that support you in that you'd like to share?
Well, I think embrace the pain. And by pain, I don't mean if something physically is, you've got an injury to push through that. I don't mean that. I mean, embrace that burn. Yeah, because a lot of people will stop at that point. Yeah. But I feel like if you can push through that, it really helps. And also embrace the pain in the sense of if things are going on in your life, because I feel like I embrace that emotional pain as well, and I use it as fuel to push me through that workout.
Wow. How do you do that? Do you know what you're doing when you do that?
Yeah, I feel like I use that anger of what of what I'm feeling, and that fuels me through the workout, and it makes me push really hard. And it's great because obviously it's a way of you regulating your emotions in a healthy way. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
All righty. And then, and I guess you feel great as a result of that, is that?
Yeah, you always feel better afterwards, yeah.
Okay, amazing. All righty. It's been such a pleasure talking with you,
Thank
Sonal.
you.
And I hope we can do this again soon.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.